There comes a day in every trucker's life where you question, why am I doing this? And there was one day, even with the 3 years of experience, that I did not think I would ever face. Now, every truck driver's experience is different. Let me know in the comments down below. But I definitely have to say, this one took me by surprise. There was multiple things that could have happened to avoided this situation. Maybe even just a time delay, a notice. But no, I had to endure it. And so I'm going to tell you guys my story on one of the worst snow days we've ever had here in the Midwest. Okay, so a day prior, I do my load and I notice that my truck is having some electrical issues. And I had to get towed. I had to get my truck towed all the way back to our terminal. And I said, oh, this is horrible. I love my baby. My baby is my baby. It's my sleeper. It has all my stuff in here. And my boss tells me, hey, don't worry about it. We'll get you a day cab. You'll be able to roll. Like, everything is all good. I said, cool, that's fine. Now, he called me a little bit later and said, beware. There's going to be a huge winter storm overnight. I'll let you know the status if we're rolling in the morning. I said, great, cool. He gave me a call early that morning saying, I don't know yet. Seems like one of the cities got hit pretty hard. I'll give you another call. If we're going to do it, sit tight. There might be a delay. So I slept in for a little bit more. And he finally gave me that, okay, hey, you're going to go pick up the day cab at our shop. And don't worry, you should be back in one day. Keyword should. Now, I should have made an executive decision and said, I don't know, this weather, I've been in it before, it doesn't look good. I was in my car and I was skidding around and I said, oh man, this is not good, but maybe it should be okay if I have my day cab. I pick up the day cab, it smells like dang gunna cigarette smoke. Now, I don't smoke. So for me, I hated the smell. It smelled disgusting. The cab looked disgusting, but I said, it's only temporary, it'll be okay. And of course, we were hoping that my baby was okay, but it was still in the shop. It hadn't even been looked at. So it's time for me to roll out. And my boss calls me midway getting to the first stop and saying that, hey, your truck is ready. I'm sorry. You could have picked it up. I didn't see that. So I'm like, hey, it is what it is. I'm already over here. And I finally get to the location and I see that it has not been plowed. And by that point, it's already 6 inches of snow on the ground. It's pretty bad and it's still snowing. It took me at least double the time to get there because of already the snowstorm that is taking place. Look, there's a semi truck crossing a dang gunted parking lot. Anyway, so I go ahead and try to do my best and analyze what I'm confronted with. And analyzing it, I said, okay, maybe, possibly, I could just really quickly ram it back, but I forgot this is a day cab, not a sleeper, and you have no idea the weight differentials that comes with having a day cab versus a sleeper. And I go ahead and try to back it up and really pack the snow back, but unfortunately, it stops me, and I have to start shoveling. Now, I know the branch manager, so I call him and I say, hey, why isn't this plowed? He said, well, they're supposed to. Apparently, they're backed up. I'll give you a call to see if the guy will be on his way. I said, cool. At least we're getting somewhere. Well, unfortunately, I get another call while I'm shoveling the snow, trying to get backed up just to get backed up to the door. It's hour after hour going by. And he says, unfortunately, the guy's busy. He said he'll be there in the next maybe 3 to 4 hours. I'm like, I can't do that. My hours are low. He's like, hey, man, I do apologize. I know. Are you able to get back to the door? I said, I can't even get to the door. I'm shoveling right now. Okay, so I shovel, clear a path. This is a long driveway. Now, anybody that's a truck driver, just imagine the length of the 53. That's how long this is plus some. So I'm shoveling on both sides just to clear a small path to get to the door. Finally, I found a technique. I get to the door and I'm like, cool, this is great. I get out, I unload, and one of the pallets have fallen down. So I'm stacking hundreds of boxes of meat over, and it sucks. If you've seen what I do, you guys know. I'm like, great, okay, how can this day get any worse? I shouldn't have asked that question because it definitely does. I pull up and I get stuck trying to close the doors and I'm like, oh no. here it is, round 2 of me trying to plow or shovel up to get unstuck. I try to rotate the tires in order to burn the ice that's underneath it, but it just seems to not work. Now my hours are low and the snow is starting to follow me, and I check the radar. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna get caught. Lo and behold, I get caught. I'm in a day cab. And the original plan was, if I get into a situation where I cannot get to my final destination, I would get to one of those truckers hotels, right, where you park up and whatnot. So that was the plan. I wasn't going to be paying for a hotel. I wasn't going to be paying for an Uber. I was put in this position, and so I believe that, hey, you're going to owe me. You're going to figure it out for me at this point because I'm doing something for you. Well, I thought my boss would have my back, but, you know, he said, man, that just sucks because guess what? I'm caught in a storm. I'm caught in this storm, and I have to do an emergency pullover to the fastest, and because I'm swerving all over the road. Not all over, I'm exaggerating, but I'm swerving around. And I said, nah, I can't do it. My differentials ain't locking. I don't know what's going on. The truck is lit up like Christmas. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all about that. There's truck issues. So I'm like, okay, I got to get to this truck stop, and it's my only option. I get to the truck stop, back it up, and I realize that my truck will not idle. It won't idle. So I'm not getting any heat. I'm freezing cold. It's freezing cold. I don't have my blankets and stuff because that's in my sleeper. I thought that I will only use it for just the day. Well, turns out that this truck is also, my truck is in the shop finished, right? And this truck has to go to a shop because it won't even oh man, it has electrical issues and high exhaust. So I'm like, great. I had to get a record the next morning because I couldn't, and guess what? That night, did I sleep in a hotel? No. Did I sleep in or get an Uber to no, I didn't. I said, you know what? This is what you relent me to. You not ask and say, hey, I'll get you an Uber to send you to the nearest hotel. Nah, that's not what my boss did. I slept in the day cab. And it freaking sucked. And that's why I said, I'm done. This pisses me off. And let me tell you guys, I would say that it wasn't a huge major deal. Yes, it was wrong. It was very much wrong. But at the same time, I could have done stuff for myself. I could have got myself a hotel, got reimbursed. I was just so pissed off and stressed out that I didn't know what to do. And my neck was so messed up from that day. And I had to get the record. The record took the trailer to the shop. I had to get another day cab. And so I finally was able to deliver the other part of the load to the second crew. Now, everybody I know for some years, and it really hurt that I was in this mood. And to be honest, now seeing what they do, their job was a lot harder than what I had to go through. So I'll just say that. But yeah, it was a really bad experience. I was cold that night. And to sleep in a day cab is quite difficult. I mean, there's no place to lay down. I tried to lay down in the middle. Trust me, I tried to do it. Anybody that sits there and tells me, oh, you could have done this, could have done that, I tried it all. I ended up actually getting pretty badly sick. And I still kept working. I still kept going. I have a worker's mentality, but I endured a lot that day. I finally got back and I was able to get my truck. And I was like, thank God. I looked at this truck and I said, wow. You know, if I ever become an owner operator, I might just want to have a sleeper just in case. You never know. Some people do day cab and they know some spots within the city. I do know that, but I was in a state that I was unfamiliar with. So all in all, it was a bad experience. It was horrible. I was shoveling for hours. And I was like, man, I was having a difficult time already with JB Hunt because of less work in the account that I was on. I usually had my spot that I would go to. I had my 3 days that I knew what to do, 2 days I didn't. Well, it turned out that my dedicated route that I had only had 2 days that I knew what I was doing and 3 days open. and the 3 days open, I would go to pallet accounts, and I wasn't a huge fan of the pallet accounts. I usually would go to Pet Supply Plus, which I love that account. Some people don't. I love that account, and unfortunately, I could no longer go to that account for reasons. Not that I did, but for reasons. And so with that being said, guys, that was my horrible experience, my worst experience that I ever had, or I would say probably my first. There's a second one that is really bad, and it's always with snow, but it was really bad. I wouldn't say it was the worst, but it was really bad. And if you guys want to hear that, let me know. Also comment down below your guys' experience when it comes down to, you know, being in the trucking industry, what you were faced. I heard some people with their steer tire. Maybe I'll just read off some of your guys' things, but I plan to bring trucking content back into the fold. And if you like it, again, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. It's your boy, the Angry Trucking Man, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.